All right, hello again, everyone. This is the Shadowfire Promotions podcast, Front Row Ringside. The date today is the 27th of October, 2015. We are just days after the Marine Corps Marathon in Washington, D.C. I mention this. Why? Because I was there. You know, I know there's a lot of people out there say, hey, man, you did a marathon. That's pretty awesome. That's pretty badass. But, in everything you're there, everything you do, there's always going to be someone who's a much bigger badass than you. I was on the course. I saw some kid who said he was 76 years old. I said, you know what, old-timer? I don't give a damn. You motivate the hell out of me. 76 years old. I forget how many marathons this guy said he did. He's like, I'm retiring this year. I got nothing, Dude's more badass than me, 76 years old. If my body holds up that long, I'll be a lucky dude. I saw some other person who was walking it with 2 walking casts. So I don't know what they did because I was on the other side of the road. But there's always someone going to be more badass than you are. Anyway, so we don't have a whole ton to talk about this time, so hopefully it won't be as long as last time. This thing will probably end up being published tomorrow the 28th. It depends. Depends how long it takes and how long it takes to produce all the stuff on the back end and everything. Because, it does take a little bit of time in the back end to do, merging the audio with the video. So, a little bit of time. But we'll see what happens. The shorter it is, the easier it is to produce. So we'll see how long this thing ends up being. So, going to talk a little bit about wrestling and a little bit of current events, and we're going to deal with the current events here first. Got a newspaper article from the 12th of October. We talked a few weeks back about the alleged terrorist attack, the attack in the Marine Corps recruiting station in Chattanooga, Tennessee. It was alleged to be a terrorist action because it was someone who had claimed some Muslim ideology, some extremist radical ideologies. So we talked about that, and we talked about a lot of different things, arming recruiters and all that, and why things can't happen. You can't really arm recruiters because a lot of them are in high schools and malls and stuff, and it's not really the kind of place where we want some guy who's packing heat, regardless of whether they know how to use it or not. You're hoping that that the other person doesn't attack you and doesn't want to attack you in a place, a public place like a mall or a high school, whatever, but I'm not necessarily sure that sitting there and having a firefight break out is the way to go either. But anyway, there was also talk of potentially going and saying, well, hey, why don't we just go and, update all these recruiting stations with bulletproof glass, and you can solve the problem that way. And well, that's great, except for one problem. When you're in a mall or usually strip malls or something like that, it's kind of hard to sit there and be putting in bulletproof glass, basically because of the way things are at strip malls. You can't really have bulletproof glass there forever. It's a difficult type of thing to do the installation and spend all the money. But what's kind of cool is this article from, like I say, the 12th, where a 95-year-old World War II veteran named Roy Drinkard, who had heard, he lives in Cullman, Alabama, and he is the president and CEO of Drinkard Development, Inc., and owns the particular building that is that houses these Marines in I'm trying to see, let's see, They have the name of it. It just says it's a strip mall that he owns. It says 50 miles north of Birmingham. And this fine Marine Corps veteran went and spent $33,000 to make sure that the recruiting station at the place that he owns, the strip mall that he owns, was outfitted with bulletproof glass. So this gentleman, this fine U.S. Marine, Roy Drinkard, he was a private first class in June 1943 to October 1945. He said he hopes other American landlords will follow suit with his example. He hopes the U.S. government will do the same, but doubts it can do enough to protect service members, because he says it takes the government 2.5 years just to put a proposal together. The commanding general of Marine Corps Recruiting Command, Lieutenant General Mark Brillakis, had told the Marine Corps Times publication in September the service is exploring new security measures for its recruiting centers, which include more security cameras, remote locking doors, security reaction training, and better ballistic protection, but ruled out installing bulletproof glass due to its cost. The quote was, "We looked at to put ballistic glass in every one of the recruiting sites we have, over 1,000, would be in excess of $100 million. As one would expect, the Marines at the Coleman Recruiting Center are very grateful to Mr. Drinkard and the continued support of the community. And it's really true. I thought that was just really, really cool that a building owner, Marine veteran or not, is going to spend $33,000. I mean, I'm sure that that's a lot of money. Whether it's a write-off or not, that's a lot of money to sit there and shell out to do this, and that's just very, very cool. 95 years old, World War II vet, 2 years in the Marine Corps, World War II. You can't beat it. That's just too cool for words. To do something like that, to serve your community, to serve your fellow veterans. Very, very cool. Let's see. Let's move onwards a little bit. We've got a lot of wrestling here. We also have some mixed martial arts. I think that's pretty much it for the community type of stuff. Looks like it. All right. So, in mixed martial arts, Ronda Rousey, the undisputed women's bantamweight champion, has made the cover of the Ring magazine. The Ring magazine, for those who are not familiar, is a boxing magazine. At one point, if I'm not mistaken, and if someone wants to correct me if I'm wrong, please drop me a line, podcast at SFP, like Shadowfire Promotions, INCChicago.com. You'll hear me refer to it as SFPIncChicago.com. But the Ring, I believe, used to be published by the same people that used to publish PWI, Pro Wrestling Illustrated, before they split off a long time ago. So that's pretty impressive that a mixed martial arts fighter has made the cover of a boxing magazine, and it just shows in the popularity, the mainstream appeal that mixed martial arts has. And as Joe Rogan had once mentioned, it's very much overtaking boxing as a sport. So when you compare the popularity of boxing and the popularity of mixed martial arts, it's clear that mixed martial arts is beginning to overtake boxing. So it wouldn't be the first magazine cover that Ronda Rousey's on. She's on the cover of Self this month, I believe, and she's been in others. So she's certainly been a favorite of Sports Illustrated, not just for their swimsuit pictures, but plenty of other stuff regarding her career in the Octagon. Ronda is kind of the Hulk Hogan, if you will, of mixed martial arts, because she has really transcended her sport in a way that no one really has since, and mixed martial arts, really no one has transcended the sport. Not George St. Pierre or Ken Shamrock or even a Brock Lesnar or a Hoist Gracie or anyone has really transcended it, mixed martial arts the way that Ronda has. In wrestling, you've had a couple, obviously Hulk Hogan, The Rock, Rocky Maivia, Dwayne Johnson, whatever you choose to remember him as. Obviously, currently he goes by his real name, Dwayne Johnson. Steve Austin, without a doubt. But I think that Ronda is really the only one who's truly transcended mixed martial arts, and I'm sure that UFC Ultimate Fighting Championship President Dana White is thrilled to death about it, because it certainly means more money for him when Ronda's on a card, because I'm sure that it translates out to more buys on a pay-per-view that she headlines. So I think that's about it for current events. That's about it for mixed martial arts. We're going to go move on to wrestling. Oops, you know what? Look at my notes here. I overlooked one thing here. This is a real quick little tribute, a little farewell. Cory Wells, one of the singers of Three Dog Night, passed away recently, passed away on the 20th of October at age 74. So certainly a very well-known singer there with that band, and certainly if you listen to any sort of oldies radio, you can certainly hear their stuff there. I don't know off the top of my head. I don't think he was suffering from any illnesses. I don't know also if Three Dog Night had reunited to do any sort of oldie circuit or anything like that, but my notes just say that he had passed away suddenly on the 20th of October at age 74. So condolences to friends and family, as well as to his bandmates in Three Dog Night. So now we'll move on to pro wrestling, and our pro wrestling has a little bit of mixed martial arts squeezed in a little later on, but we're going to kind of talk a little bit about, we're going to go and take a page from Ravishing Rick Rude and what he said the Monday on Nitro after the Montreal Screwjob, and talk about what's right and what's wrong in professional wrestling. What's wrong in pro wrestling is the notion that unless you are 6'5" and 270 pounds, you are only a little flippy guy or a vanilla midget. And this has less to do with how you're perceived by wrestlers, but probably more how people perceive them. Just like, granted, it's internet fans, I understand that. It's not necessarily the perspective of the mainstream wrestling fans as a whole, but it's funny how people that will only watch WWE will say, yeah, well, this guy, he's not like 6'5", so he's like a vanilla midget, and he's a little flippy guy, because they've got it kind of ingrained into their mind that pro wrestlers should only be like 6'4" and 270 pounds. But there's, and I started looking into this type of thing a while back when I first was looking at what I wanted to talk about on this podcast. And a lot of it has to do with the way that these wrestlers are booked. And it has a little bit to do with WWE and an attitude that WWE has that you're not going to be a main event star unless you're like 6'5" and 270 pounds, because that's the WWE mentality. You have to be larger than life and huge and heavily muscled and just, muscles on top of muscles and on top of muscles and looking like kind of a Popeye cartoon. But it also has to do with every single wrestling company, and I'm looking at Total Nonstop Action here, spotlight kind of firmly on them. When it comes to companies, we'll look at what WWE does and says, well, if that's what WWE does, then we should copy that because that's the way to succeed. World Championship Wrestling did that. The National Wrestling Alliance did for a while, and they say, well, WWE does it, so we're going to have to copy what they do because everyone knows that the way to success is to copy every single thing that the number one guy does, which I talked about last time. It's just such a stupid perspective. It's a ridiculous notion that I wish less people would do to make independent wrestling a whole hell of a lot more fun to see, guys trying to do their own thing rather than saying, hey, you know what? I know that WWE spends $10 million on each of their Raws, so I think what would be really cool and what the fans are clamoring for is to see us spend $2,000 to copy it with guys that don't even have the same talent or the same body type, because this is what fans have been clamoring for. I know in my heart of hearts and I know in my mind that people are willing to spend $20 to see some guy copy the same exact gimmick that a famous WWE wrestler does. But here's the catch. He's not going to copy it exactly. He's going to copy it in like 5% of the budget because I don't have any money. So that's what I'm going to do because that's the way to success. And I'm not going to get too deep into that particular pet peeve because it's been mentioned ad nauseum. Not only in this podcast, but it's been mentioned on our Facebook page and everywhere else. So it's really not something worthy of being mentioned again. But not that. But the notion of little flippy guys and vanilla midgets. This isn't just a WWE thing where, well, the only reason I thought of that is because WWE only pushes, big guys, but it's not. It's every single other person, every single other federation, independent or otherwise, or big name, again, Total Nonstop Action, TNA, or Impact Wrestling, or whatever they want to call themselves this week. It's the same notion that they kind of book themselves into that corner because they look at the companies, again, Total Nonstop Action, they say, well, TNA only books them as guys who are just out there to entertain and fly around a ring and do a lot of motion, and there's no real story being told or anything. They're just there to, kind of be the warm-up, remember in college when you had the little sports mascot that does a couple little flippy things and warms up the crowd and jumps all around and does all sorts of stuff, and then you wait for the main players to come on the course. That's kind of the way a lot of people look at cruiserweights. Hey, I don't know what to make of this guy. Sure, I just don't know what to make of him because he's not like a huge giant, and God forbid I ever try to do a legit sort of a cruiserweight or anything like that. I'm just going to go and do something, and I'm just going to book this guy as like a little flippy act. And, as I mentioned in my last podcast, there was a guy I knew, short, fat, never wrestled his life, and said, well, they only want, the fans only want to see big, huge guys. They don't want to see little flippy guys. So how the hell do you know? You ever tried to push a little flippy guy as a serious, oh, no one wants to see that. So basically you're just buying into the WWE mentality that unless the guy is 6'5" and 300 pounds, that he's useless. Well, yeah, of course. Well, and that's the reason why that these, so-called little flippy guys are always, kind of predestined for that role, because no one ever wants to push them as a serious or a credible threat. They always want to kind of push them as sort of the pre-show guys that are there to create a lot of, high spots and fly around and create a lot of motion, and guys who are like entertaining, but not really someone who's meant or designed to be any sort of actual, credible threat, or someone who's in a title picture or anything else. And like anything else in pro wrestling, the only way that's going to change is when WWE, as the industry leader, whether you like it or not, starts changing their attitude about it, and guys who are 6'8" and 6'7" and 6'5", and all these guys quit losing the attitude of, well, he's 5 feet tall, so how can he be a threat? Because I'm like, 150 feet tall, so, why should I shouldn't have to go and be booked to be threatened by this little guy, which, is hysterical when you think about it, because if you look at someone like Ultimate Fighting Championship star George St. Pierre, a guy like George St. Pierre could probably tie up your Hulk Hogan's and your Kevin Nash's, your Hunter Hearst Humbleys in a tiny little, into little bitty knots. And here's a guy, he doesn't really talk very well. He's not exactly, huge. He's not super tall. He's not, huge muscles. But he's a guy who could tear you apart nonetheless. And this is where this is among the issues that WWE has, where they lose their credibility, and where other wrestling promotions lose their credibility as well when they do this kind of a thing, and they present this sort of a product, not to mention the notion of only booking things that copies, identically. Hey, you know what WWE the storyline last week? So why don't we do it this week? Because, we should totally do this storyline, but on a 1/50th of their budget. Wouldn't that be cool? So instead of Kane coming out of an ambulance, why don't we have some guy coming out of a station wagon? But we have to do it at a totally, different way, because we don't have the money for all the effects. So yeah, we're just gonna do it on the cheap, but people totally want to see it, because they'll totally think it's the same thing, and it's not. And there's kind of the problem with such a easy barrier, a low barrier to entry to promoting wrestling matches, is that anyone can do it, and you can do it as crappish. Well, I'm sure the crappiest ones don't survive very long, because people have no concept of what to do, and they might attract a few loyalists, and they might spend a crap ton of money and all that, but it's never going to be a a serious, credible thing, as long as you continue to run things in basically kind of a backwards way like that. And, on that same topic, we're going to kind of transition into wrestling hyperbole, where you have, and this was a huge thing that Tony Schiavone used to do when World Championship Wrestling. You know what, this could be a main event anywhere in the world. I understand that we have never had Barry Horowitz battle it out with Dusty Wolf, but this could be a main event anywhere in the world. This could sell anywhere. And wrestling is hyperbole, and wrestling is hype, but there comes a point where there is so much hype and so much hyperbole that it goes into the realm of unbelievability, and that is where things just kind of fall apart, in wrestling, where people just start tuning out. People say, well, why is the WWE Network losing like 200,000 viewers for every like 1,000 they gain? Things like this are the reason why. Because they just, refuse to recognize that pro wrestling has to, not should, has to follow some laws of reality. Yes, this sport is a work. Yes, everything is predetermined. Yes, these people are not really out to hurt each other. But for pity's sake, do we have to go and advertise it, everywhere we go? That, hey everyone, it's fake, hey, don't watch it, it's fake. Hey, there should be a disclaimer, on WWE matches, they have the disclaimer, don't try this at home. I think that they should have a disclaimer. Hey, everything you're watching here is fake. So if you see a guy punch another guy, it's fake. He's not hurt. If we got a guy stretched out, it's fake. Everything is here is fake. Fake, 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 fake. Matter of fact, the announcer say, look at that punch. He really hurt him. Of course, he didn't really hurt him. It's fake. Hey, it's fake. Mike Close will be on the broadcast. Welcome to Monday Night Raw. Hey, just as a reminder, if you haven't already looked at the announcement, it's fake. Everything I say tonight here is fake. It's fake. I'm here with Jerry the King Lawler. He'll tell you it's fake. I'm here with Bradshaw. He'll tell you it's fake. Everything here is fake. Because that's the way that everyone wants to take the ball, so to speak, from WWE. And when they do that, they fall into the trap that WWE sets, where, well, WWE is just entertainment, so it doesn't matter that we don't have to have a cohesive storyline or a flow. We can put a bunch of random things in there, and it doesn't matter. Let's put it all together, and hey, if it doesn't fit with the story we're telling, wait. We're telling a story here? No, we're not. It's fake. Who cares if there doesn't need to be a narrative. It's fake. Hey, it's kind of like a murder mystery where you have the person, kind of like Perry Mason, where the person is dead at the opening scene, like somewhere else he's alive, and he's like testifying to, oh yeah, when he killed me at the beginning of this movie, oh yeah, no, I was totally killed there, but it was fake, so it doesn't really matter that I'm here now, because it's fake. No one cares, it's fake. Or any other show, and I mentioned this before, it's kind of like The Fugitive, where you have Harrison Ford in a tunnel with Tommy Lee Jones. I didn't kill my wife. No, of course you didn't, Harrison. Callista's right over here. She's right off set. She's waiting on you. Of course you didn't. This is fake, remember? It's all fake. It's like where people go, and I know this has been done on the Shadowfire Promotions Facebook page, which is facebook.com/SFPINC Chicago, where people will go and, post all these blooper reels, and it's like, oh, wrestling is fake. I'll prove it. Here's a video that shows these guys communicating with each other. It's like, well, why is there such an insistence on going and showing it? It isn't like this is a big secret anymore. So enjoy it for what it is, rather than sitting there, oh, look, he blew that spot. Oh, he blew that move. Oh, look, he's taunting each other. Oh, that was fake. That was fake. Why is there this insistence on showing off everything and just, poking at it because it already is a work, because we've admitted that it's a work, because I don't necessarily, I see it for movies too, so what is the obsession with trying to poke holes in things, whether it be, oh, that was fake, oh, that was fake, oh, look at this, see, here's the boom mic, oh, and here's the different color pants the guy's wearing, look at his socks aren't matched in this scene, but they're matched in this other scene. I just don't understand it. I really wish someone could explain to me why there has to be this huge gaping lack of narrative in pro wrestling where you say, oh, I understand that this guy's neck was broken, and we ripped off his head, and Jason Voorhees came and, chopped off his head and took it with him, but in the next scene, the guy's got his head because, hey, it's fake and it doesn't matter. And I think, to continue on that example, I think fans of those types of slasher movies would be howling all over the place if Jason killed someone in one scene and they said, well, he popped right back next and said, well, no, Jason didn't kill me, it's fake. I mean, he's a stunt man, there's no real Jason, it's totally fake. Here's how I did it, it's totally fake though, so if you want to see the end, he lives, I'm supposed to die, but I didn't really die because it's fake. So, that's the end of the movie. The end of the movie is it's fake, and he's alive again. Yeah, because it's all fake. And nowhere is this more prevalent than WWE, which values more than a coherent storyline, more than a coherent narrative that puts together their shows. They more value being, mainstream pop culture. As long as someone talks about them, that's more important. And that's where WWE has serious credibility issues that the National Wrestling Alliance didn't have in the early days, up until the late 1980s, early 1990s, when they started trying to copy WWE, what was then the World Wrestling Federation, and World Championship Wrestling, when they started trying to copy everything that then World Wrestling Federation did. There's credibility. So this is why, it's fake shit. Well, you just don't have those same credibility issues in other wrestling promotions. You do to an extent. There's not going to be someone that's a hater, but you don't have the same credibility issues because WWE insists on having their pop culture moment where it's like, ooh, hey, we got a guy who's like a teenager, and wouldn't it be really cool if they went in, oh, that would be so cool. Oh, and he beats up on Seth Rollins. Oh, that'd be so awesome because we could get Seth Rollins in the news. We could have Stephen Colbert just punch him out. Stephen Colbert's just going to beat the crap out of him. Just going to get him on the ground and punch him. And he's going to leave Seth Rollins all bloody on the ground. And Seth will be in there like a broken arm and like a wheelchair and like a body cast. I was so mad that Stephen Colbert beat me up last week. Oh, that'd be so entertaining. And to get us in the news, oh, yeah, who cares if Seth's our champion? He's got a draw for us. We got a drawing card. Stephen Colbert, he's the real draw in WWE. And of course, if you saw NXT Aftershock, you saw skinny little Slipknot band member Corey Taylor basically bitch slap NXT wrestler Baron Corbin. Maybe it's just a size comparison issue, but Corey Taylor's a skinny little short dude, and Baron Corbin is about 6'8" and 275. Baron Corbin is an ex-football player. He's participated in the 2008 Golden Gloves National Tournament of Champions. But he lets this skinny, scrawny little, a singer bitch slap him, and he didn't do anything because, hey, this is entertainment. So in this world, you can have Justin Bieber beat the crap out of someone because that's entertainment. This is what the fans want to see. They want to see their heroes get beat up by the local celebrity. I think when Bob Barker guest hosted, he should have beat up on John Cena because that would have been entertainment. I mean, it's entertainment. We have to remember, fake, fake, fake. I mean, we should talk about world fake wrestling, fake entertainment, because it's fake, fake W, fake W, fake WE. Fake W, fake W, fake E. Fake world, fake wrestling, fake entertainment, because it's all fake, and if we don't beat everyone over the head of the fact that it's fake every couple of seconds, someone might actually think it's real. Parents, please do not try this at home. Our fakers are professionally trained fakers. They have had years and years of practice at being fake. And hey, when you get in that ring, fake things happen. Fake things happen. And you cannot fake. So fake, do not fake try this at fake home. But it basically, it just kills the credibility when you have these, small, skinny guys beat up in these big, tough wrestlers. Like, okay, how am I supposed to believe that you have trouble, wrestling this guy when some unathletic singer went and beat the crap out of this guy last week? How am I, anyone. Okay, so I'll take let's say Samoa Joe, okay? So how am I supposed to believe that Samoa Joe has a tough time wrestling Baron Corbin? Hell, if some skinny band member can beat him up, you must not be very good, Samoa Joe. Gosh, you got to be kind of a panty waist yourself, because you had trouble wrestling this guy. He took you to the limit, but a singer beat him up. So gosh, that means Samoa Joe must be kind of a pussy, right? He's got to be kind of a wimp. If he had trouble, Corey Taylor, some wimpy singer, beat him up. Gosh, doesn't say much for anyone that wrestles Baron Corbin and has a rough time. If a singer can beat him up, gosh, larger than life. Yeah, they're larger than life, but they may be larger than life, but I'll tell you what, they're pretty unathletic guys in general. I think those muscles are like fake. I think they glue them on at the beginning of the show. We've never really seen these guys truly not being fake. These guys could just sit there, hey, Randy, man, can I borrow your muscles? Cause I forgot one of my muscles. I lost it in the airport, like when I lost my leg. Oh, sure, man, here's one of my biceps. Go ahead and borrow biceps and go out there. Yeah, here's some biceps. And just glue them on. Because it'll look better when, you get beat up later on by by Justin Bieber or someone. We're going to have, I'm surprised, honestly. I thought that Connor from Connor's Cure was going to come and beat the snot out of like half the WWE roster. I thought that'd be like a true fan, give him the WWE World Championship, let him beat up the roster. Wouldn't that be a thing? Really, the kid's gonna die, so have him beat up the roster so he can say he went and beat up every single guy in WWE before he died. Here's a kid with uncurable cancer, and he still kicked the crap out of every WWE guy on the roster. That is how bad this kid is. They could bring back AJ Lee, who was the smallest, the tiniest of the WWE divas. She could go and beat up John Cena. She could beat up Triple H. They had Chyna do it, but Chyna, didn't really beat up everyone. And I think it would be really cool to have, like, whoever the non-John Cena Bella twin is, whichever one of the two is not, like, dating John Cena, could go and, like, beat up on John Cena. And then you could have the one Bella who is dating John Cena come out there and, like, she could pretend to like, care for him. And then she could turn on him to go for her sister. And then she could beat up John Cena, too. Because that would be entertainment, to have the divas beat up on the males. You could have, like, the Bella twins kick the snot out of Hunter. Hunter could go on up here and, do his big entrance and everything, and then the Divas could come out and beat him up, and he could lay there in a bloody heap and say, well, it's entertainment, so, I really got my, I got beat up by a WWE diva, and they could hype it every, oh my gosh, you throw back this, look at Triple H get beat up by a WWE diva, because it's all fake, right? So who cares? And again, this is where the WWE loses all of their credibility. You don't catch the NFL saying, well, we're going to take, one of our star guys and have them get beat up by a singer or someone. We're not going to have this guy get beat up by a singer because, hey, it's football. It's entertainment. We're only here to entertain you when we play football. We're not here to actually play football or have a, good game or anything. We're going to have this, some boy band member. We're going to have him beat up on our star tackle. We're going to have our biggest linebacker get his butt kicked by a little girl. We're going to have like Adele or someone, beat up on him because that's what it'd be entertaining. This is what people buy season tickets for football to see. Basketball, we want to see someone get his butt kicked by someone else. We're going to get Nick Nolte and have him, beat the crap out of one of our basketball players, because that'd be cool. That'd be entertainment, We're going to have him, beat up on, someone on the team. What's his face? I can't think of it. LeBron. We're going to have, LeBron get his butt kicked by Nick Nolte, but Nick Nolte has to be at least a 5-day bender, so he looks really awful. So when he beats him up, it'll be even funnier to see LeBron get his butt kicked by half in the bag Nick Nolte. Wouldn't that be entertaining? Oh, that'd be so entertaining. The UFC, you're not going to say, well, hey, this is entertainment, so we're going to have Taylor Swift go and beat the crap out of Junior Dos Santos and Cain Velasquez, because that's entertainment. That's what people want to see. People really want to see Cain Velasquez get his butt trashed by, Taylor Swift. And then we're going to have Junior do it, too. Junior's going to come out there, and he's going to try and help Cain, and then Taylor's going to kick his butt, too, and just thrash him and, force him to submit. Because this is entertainment. I mean, we don't have to be credible or anything. And then WWE wonders why they can't sell tickets, because they lose their credibility. And there's going to be people that say, I don't get it. UFC is real and this is fake. And basketball and football are real and this is fake. And for those that say that, you're never going to understand. You're just not. I could sit here for under 6 hours and try and explain to you what pro wrestling is based on, and you're not going to understand. But the bottom line is this business is based on credibility, selling tickets, whether it be the fan favorite looking to go and get revenge on the hated rule breaker, or, trying to go and, chase after a title that's held by someone, or, anything like that, trying to, get revenge on the evil guy who beat you up, or, just the title quest, or, doing it for the fans, because it's what the fans want to see, or taking that guy down a peg, that's what this is based on. This is how you sell tickets. You don't sell tickets by saying, hey, here's this, here's Karen Carpenter, and yeah, we dug her up from the grave at her anorexic best, but we're going to have her go and put, an arm bar on our top draw because we think it'd be really entertaining to do. You don't book as entertainment. You book as wrestling. You book as a combat sport. What do people want to see? There's a narrative behind it, and no, there isn't. It's fake. Real doesn't do this. Yes, real does. What the heck do you think motivated the fight between Ronda Rousey and Betch Kahea? What do you think motivated the fight with Misha Tate? What do you think motivated the fight with Kat Zingano? There's always some narrative to be told. Tito Ortiz and Ken Shamrock. All this stuff. Matt Serra and Matt Hughes. Someone's chasing after someone for a purpose, whether it be to move up in the ranks, to shut your mouth, to get a title. Someone is fighting for a reason. Not just, well, we think you'd be entertaining. So we're putting you two out there. There's no real reason for you guys to fight, but we think it'd be entertaining, so we'll just put it out there. Fans react to it, terrific. Maybe they'll chant, "This is awesome." Because that's what, who cares? I mean, it doesn't matter. It's entertainment, right? There's just so much wrong with this type of thing that WWE does, and they do it all the time, and they still think that somehow this is entertaining. Another thing that WWE does way more than they should is, I'm not necessarily sure that other promotions don't do this, because I've seen this before too, but they take any concept that's good and they run it into the ground. They shoot it, they stab it, they kill it, they rip it apart, they maul it, they revive it from the dead with a bolt of lightning only to go and slaughter it again. Then they, raise it from the dead a second time and kill it. They do the same matches so many times. The Money in the Bank, they do the ladder match. Hey, we're going to do a ladder match. This is exciting. It's going to be made for anyone in the country. You have never seen 16 ladder matches on the same card, all 10 minutes apart from each other. This is exciting. No, it's not. You see the same things over and over and over again, and they lose whatever oomph they may have had. WWE is famous for this. They take any good concept, and they say, well, if it was good once, we'll do it 75 other times. And WWE takes the absolute worst habits of Hollywood and does it because Hollywood is famous for this. Hey, if a movie was good once, we'll make a sequel to it. And if the sequel is good, hell, let's run the concept into the ground. Instead of leaving fans wanting more, we're going to keep on making sequels. Hell, look, we've got Rocky 700. The great-great-great-great-great-great-great-grandson of Rocky is going to go. The great-great-great-great-great-great-great-great-grandson of Clubber Lang. Rocky 75. It's just like, who cares anymore? You've done the same thing so many times. Is there nothing you can do that's different? It's like a ladder match. WWE is famous for taking a ladder match and making it a common, everyday occurrence. It's as common as, a six-man scramble match where you have, or a triple threat or a four-way dance or whatever. Instead of a fatal four-way, it's not a four-way dance. Triple threats are now three-way dances. So I mean, it's gotten to the point where one-on-one in the ring is like a scarce thing. It's like, oh gosh, I have not seen two guys fighting in the ring in ages. Gosh, I don't even remember the last time two guys actually fought in the ring. Now, 3 guys, 4 guys, 5, 10, I see that every week. Ladder matches, ho-hum, done every week, 3 times a week. We do a ladder match because we wouldn't be wrestling without at least one ladder match on the show, so let's have a ladder match. Hey, it doesn't matter. Hey, you know what? Let's have a Divas ladder match. We'll put the Bella Twins against each other in a ladder match. And then they can go up against another one. Like next week, we'll have another ladder match. We'll rematch them in a ladder match. Except this time we'll have like 2 ladders, and then we'll give them like 4 ladders, and we'll just have like a lot of ladders. And it'll be like Ladder Mania. We'll have a new page we'll call Ladder Mania. And like every other week, we'll have a huge show where there's a ladder match. And then people wonder why, there has to be this sort of Hardy Boy sort of thing where you have to have bigger spots and better and guys jumping off the roof of the Sears Tower and guys, diving off the Empire State Building, because no one cheers for what used to be a big deal because they're numb to it. They're numb to it because you do it all the time. And pro wrestling just can't seem, especially WWE, but pro wrestling just can't seem to grasp, gee, we can't draw ratings, so let's do the same thing we've always done and just do it more. Well, one ladder match didn't draw ratings, so let's have like 2 or 6 or like 75. I've got it. We'll do in Raw. We got a 3-hour show. Let's see how many ladder matches we can squeeze onto that show. That would be entertaining. That would certainly draw a rating. Oh my. So enough about the stupidity and, well, okay, I'd like to say enough about the stupidity of WWE, but unfortunately there's more. Kind of like a Ginsu knife commercial. But wait, there's more. So, TMZ reports that former NFL tackle Brennan Williams is now training with Booker T to attempt a career in the ring. Williams has not played in the NFL since he was picked in the 3rd round of the 2013 draft. So he is now the latest football player to make a shot at pro wrestling. And of course, since he's training with Booker T, he will undoubtedly get sent to NXT, where they will attempt to make him into a credible wrestler. And he will probably never get outside of NXT because, as I mentioned last time, although NXT says, hey, we're going to prove to you that we can take anybody off the street. That little old lady that you just helped across the street, she's going to be a pro wrestler next week because we're NXT, and we're going to prove to you that because this is fake, we can make anybody into a fake wrestler. We will take that stuffed animal you have and make him into a fake wrestler because it's fake. That old bath towel on the floor, we're going to make that a pro wrestler because it's fake. And because it's fake, we can do anything. That box that you have, there's a beer bottle on your desk. We're going to make that a fake wrestler because it's all fake. And we're going to prove that it's fake by turning that fake beer bottle into a fake wrestler. But as I mentioned last time, it's telling to me how NXT is supposed to be the next generation, and they're going to turn, anyone into a wrestler, and it's going to be like the farm system that they wanted Heartland Wrestling and Ohio Valley Wrestling to be, and all their top wrestlers are going through that school, but yet NXT has yet to turn out one single star on their own. Every single person that's main evented or even come close to being on the main roster of WWE has been someone who has already been previously trained, who's been established previously as someone else, whether it be Samoa Joe or whether it be Prince Nana, or, Prince Devitt, rather. My bad, wrong Prince. Next thing I'm going to say Prince with the love symbol, the artist formerly known as Prince. But I shouldn't give WWE ideas. I might try and make him a wrestler. Whether it be Samoa Joe or Prince Devitt or anyone else that's come through NXT, they've all been previously established somewhere else. Nowhere in the NXT system for all what they've been trying to go and talk about as we can turn that into a wrestler and it's going to be great. The only people they've really been turning out is guys who have been previously established. So that could be bad, that could be good. I would much rather that NXT go and push guys who are already established pro wrestlers first and take their time and not try to shove out someone and say, well, he's famous elsewhere, so we're going to make him into a pro wrestler. We're going to shove him out on TV, even though he doesn't know what he's doing, kind of Dennis Rodman style. We're going to put him out there, Jay Leno and Dennis Rodman, because he's famous. And sure, he can't work a match, but he's famous. What's the matter if he doesn't know what he's doing? He's famous. This is fake, remember? All that matters is if you're famous from somewhere else. It doesn't matter if you work a match. It's fake. But in all seriousness, I'd much rather they try to actually teach people something and try to see if they have something to offer as wrestlers rather than just shove them out at someone and say, well, it's fake, so it doesn't really matter. So we'll see. We'll see. The jury's still out on that. NXT has been doing good so far, but again, they've only been using talent that's been available somewhere else. So NXT really hasn't been doing anything on its own. It's basically just, here's the place for guys who have snapped up from other federations, enjoy on a bigger scale than what you might have seen, but it's not like they're introducing something new. It's not some revolutionary concept. So let's see. So we've talked about a lot about WWE. We talked about a little current events. We talked about Ronda Rousey. So let's talk about some of the future of this podcast. We're going to have undisputed, undefeated mixed martial artist and pro wrestler Daniel Puder. He was in Ohio Valley Wrestling for a while. He is now he's now the founder of the My Life, My Power charity, an anti-bullying charity. He also has a link. You can do it at Amazon Smile. So if you want to go and shop at Amazon, you can go and make sure that you go to the link smile.amazon.com/ch/45-409-5213, and Amazon will donate 0.5% of whatever you buy to My Life, My Power World, Inc. So it's a great way to help support Daniel Puder. Sunny, the California girl from Glow. We'll hope to have her on soon. A lot of this is my fault because I have been way too lazy to go out and buy the necessary headphones that I need to buy to go and do a podcast with a guest. But I also, even once I do and I get the program set up on my computer here to go and record, I still need to have a guinea pig, if you will, to go and do a little back and forth with me to make sure that everything works properly, so I don't end up in a situation where I spend a lot of time talking with someone and none of it's recorded properly. So we also hope to have Roxy Astor, who has the Afterglow fan party. If you ever wanted to know what everyone was doing Afterglow, this is it. This is the Afterglow fan party. She's got a DVD out. Each DVD that you buy from us is individually autographed by Roxy. Put whatever message you want on there. She's also working on the Afterglow fan party cruise. That is next summer. I believe it's like May or June. Let me look it up here. I have the link for it. Real handy, right? So the Afterglow Fan Party Cruise, for more information on that, you can go to aovacations.com/rw/cruise/5222. And that is May 22nd to May 26th of 2016. It goes from Long Beach to Catalina to Ensenada and back to Long Beach. You can go and meet a lot of the Glow Girls, town hall style panel discussion, cocktail party, photo session, autograph session, a lot of other cool stuff. I am not sure at this juncture if I'm going to be there. It depends, because I am hoping to go to the Cauliflower Alley Club reunion in Las Vegas, and I'm not sure if I will have the type of money to do both things, because they are going to be very close to one another, within a month of one another. But I will definitely support Roxy in that, and hopefully there'll be a lot of video that she gets this event, and we'll hope to have that DVD as well. Let's see. If you go to Wind Gypsies, that's WINDGYPSYS, windgypsies.com, Ray Class on the bass, Nick Laramie on the guitars, and Neil Holmquist on the drums, you can check out these guys. They're a great rock and roll band. They got a CD out. It's called Free to Ride Again. It's a great disc. They play a lot in Illinois. They do some stuff, I believe, even in Wisconsin and Indiana, so check them out. They're a great band. They're great guys. They're terrific. A lot of great tunes, a lot of classic rock, a lot of covers, a lot of their own material. Definitely worth a listen. You can download their album in iTunes. I know I've seen it there. And if you're lucky enough to see them in person, you can definitely get the CD. You can check them out. They've got their schedule there. They're a great rock and roll group and definitely worth a listen. We got plenty of merchandise. I know last week I talked about a lot of the merchandise we had. We got some newer stuff that I didn't even mention last time. We got the UFC game for Xbox. We've got a lot of Pride DVD, some of the early stuff, Bushido Volumes 1 to 3. We've got a lot of boxes, Hulk Hogan. We've got VHS. We got Free for All. There's plenty of stuff. If you're into some mainstream stuff, like regular movies and stuff, we've got a lot of James Bond. We've got the Nitro Girls swimsuit calendar, a lot of late year WCW, World Championship Wrestling, John Cena and the Marine, the Wrestler. So there's a lot of cool stuff. We're working on acquiring a library of promotion, a defunct promotion that we used to work for. I don't want to announce too much until we get done going and acquiring the rights to that, but there will definitely be some cool stuff there. Wrestlers and fighters, if you're hurting, check out Chiro1, CHIROONE.net. Chiropractor. I know a lot of people are kind of suspicious about chiropractors. I don't really understand why not. They've gone through all the necessary medical school. They're doctors, and they help me out from a lot of my aches and pains, from running, from being on the road, all this stuff. They probably had a good 5-10 years back to my athletic career, and it's real good. If you're in the downtown Chicago, you want to check out the Loop 2 office. Check out Dr. Ed, Brittany, and Carolyn down there at Loop 2 office in Chicago. They're downtown. Great people, great environment, a lot of fun, and definitely can get an adjustment down there, get some x-rays, find out exactly where they can help you out. Let's see, what else? Oh, Nicholas Wadier. Where do I start with Nick? If it was not for Nick, he would not be hearing this podcast. Nick got me into the Apple Store so you can hear me in iTunes. Nick helped me out a lot with podcasting in general, and I'm going to definitely be relying on Nick a little bit for, techniques on getting this podcast recorded and having guests and all that cool stuff as well. Nick runs things a little different than I do because he's got access to a studio and I don't. So I kind of do my stuff without the aid of a studio, where your Steve Austin, your Chris Jericho, and all them do have that I don't. So we got to do things a little differently because I just don't have access to these things where I am. But Nicholas Wadier is a good friend, known him for years since I've been working up in the Green Bay, Wisconsin area with a defunct promotion up that way. Nick helped me with all the technical aspects, putting all this thing together. And he was patient with a lot of my stupid questions. He helped me put together a couple of places on my website. He's got his own little technology website. It's called Technopoly, technopoly411.com. So make sure to check out technopoly411.com. There's a link on my links page on my website, sfpinchicago.com. So check it out under affiliates and links. You'll see the link for Technopoly411. He's also on Twitter, Technopoly411. You definitely want to check him out there. Let's see, who else do we have here? Kimberly Cormican, KD Cormican. That's KD like Catherine Dawn, even though that's not her real name. K.D. Cormican. Kim, another real good friend of mine, she's got a book, Whatever Makes You Blind. It is her first novel. She's also working on a second book. So make sure you check it out. You can download it on the Kindle store. You can go and also get it off of Amazon's, I take it back. The Kindle store is Amazon, so you can get it in iTunes as well. My bad, I got my things mixed up. You can definitely get it on Amazon for the Kindle. You can also get it in iTunes. It's called Whatever Makes You Blind. You can probably get it in paperback as well from the publisher, but make sure you check her out. She is also in Twitter. Check her out, Kimberly Cormican, Cormican. She goes under KD, that's Kilo Delta in phonetics, not KD like Katie, like Katie Heigl. If you want to contact me personally, you can do it at gdennis at sfpinchicago.com. If you want to make a comment about this podcast or anything related to this podcast or being a guest on the podcast, anything, questions, something that you want addressed on the podcast, whatever it may be, anything that you even think remotely might be related to the podcast, you want to go and send an email to podcast at sfpinchicago.com. You can check us, you can, if you're a wrestler or you're a fighter or you run a wrestling or a fighting promotion and you want to go and have your merchandise distributed through us, email us at distribution. That is distribution at sfpinchicago.com. If you have a question about any merchandise, definitely, prices, when a catalog is going to go or anything like that, email orders at sfpinchicago.com. That is orders, like I'm going to order a wrestling video from Shadowfire Promotions. So I'm going to email them at orders, plural, orders at sfpinchicago.com. Social media. A lot of our stuff is on our website. Our website is sfpinchicago.com, but you can also find us on Facebook at facebook.com/sfpinchicago. You can also find us on Twitter at sfpinchicago. That's facebook.com/sfpinchicago or twitter.com/sfpinchicago. If you see a trend, good on ya. We have our YouTube channel, which is, wait for it, youtube.com/ and if you guessed sfpinchicago, you're right. We also have a channel on Vimeo. That is Vimeo, vimeo.com/sfpinchicago. I do believe that is just about everything we have in terms of all of our plugs and all of our links and all that good stuff. So we're cruising at just a sliver over an hour right now, so this will not make about an hour and a half. I don't think it's our shortest podcast, but it's definitely right up there. But it's not a 3-hour podcast like last time either. But we'll see what happens next time. Hey, maybe we'll get to more time with our guests with the longer we have to prepare. In any case, that's about it for now. So I will check you all out next time from Front Row Ringside.